For today's lesson, we're going to be comparing rates as well as equations. And so to begin, we have our first word problem. It says Megan and Hillary are walking around Frame Park. Megan walks at a constant rate of 4 miles per hour. Hillary's rate is shown in the table. Who is going to finish their walk first? So if we're going to finish our walk first, that means we're looking for who is faster. That's the information we need to figure out. And to do so, we're going to compare our rates. Remember, rate is how quickly something's happening. So Megan, she provides her rate straight to us. Her rate is 4 miles per hour. But when it comes to Hillary, we have to do a little bit of math. And so we can look at the table and we can find our rate or our slope. To go from 2.25 to 9, that's adding 6.75. To go from 9 to 22.5, we're adding 13.5. And to go from 22.5 to 36, we're adding 13.5. And then looking at the hours or the x values, we add 1.5, add 3, and add 3. And so remember, to figure out our rate, we have to divide the change of the y by the change of the x. So 13.5 divided by 3 should be the same as 6.75 divided by 1.5. And if you simplify these, they both end up being 4.5. So Hillary's rate was 4.5 miles per hour. And so we need to figure out who is going to finish their walk first. Well, it's whoever was faster. So Hillary's rate was faster. And so Hillary will finish first. So that's one type of comparison we may have to make. The next problem says, Mrs. Morose and Miss Kennel have a competition to see who can finish refugee first. Mrs. Morose is on page 50 and reads 1.5 pages per minute. Miss Kennel is on page 75 and reads 1 page per minute. Use this information to answer the following questions. First, we have to write an equation for Miss Morose and Miss Kennel. And to do so, just like in the past, we're going to start by finding the slope and the y-intercept. So looking at Miss Morose, she is on page 50 and she reads 1.5 pages per minute. I know the rate is going to be my slope. So my slope is 1.5 pages per minute, which means my y-intercept is 50. So my equation is going to be y equals 1.5x plus 50. Why don't you take a minute to pause the video and do Miss Kennel's equation and then come back and check. Looking at Miss Kennel, she's on page 75 and reads 1 page per minute. So her rate or her slope is 1 page per minute. Her y-intercept is 75, and her equation is y equals x plus 75. Now that we have our equations, we need to graph. And remember, when we graph, the first thing we have to do is set up our graph. And so we're comparing pages per minute, whereas what we're reading. So my time is minutes, so that's going to be my x value. And that's going to determine how many pages I've read. And then we also have to figure out our scale. If I count my minutes by 1, I'm going to start for Miss Kennel at 75, and then after 1 minute, I'm at 76, 2 minutes, 77. Well, for Miss Morose, if I start at 50 pages, after 1 minute, I'm at 51.5, 2 minutes, 53. It's going to take a long time for those graphs to intersect, which is what we're looking for. And so I'm not going to count my minutes by 1. Instead, I'm going to count by bigger numbers. And I think counting by 10s are always easy, but I'm going to say every other line is 10. So really I'm counting by 5s, but I'm only writing every 10. So 5 would be here, then I have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Now, when I think about the pages that I'm reading, I have to start at page 50 and 75, so I'm actually going to use the same scale. Every line is 5, so 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And now that I have my graph set up, I can actually plot some points. So looking at Miss Morose's equation, I know she's starting at page 50, so at 0 minutes, she's at page 50. And then I want to figure out how far is she after 10 minutes. So 1.5 times 10 plus 50. Well, 1.5 times 10 is 15, plus 50 is 65. So after 10 minutes, she's at page 65. After 20 minutes, she has read another 15 pages, so she's at page 80. 30 minutes, that's another 15 pages. 95, and I ran out of space. So here is my first graph. Miss Kennel, on the other hand, starts at page 75, but she only reads just 1 page a minute. So we have 10 plus 75 is 85. After 20 minutes, that's 95. And then that's all I can fit as well, and I have my graph. Now, I cannot see where my graphs intersect, and so we're going to have to do this mathematically to figure out question number 3. How long will it take for them to be on the same page? I can see my lines are merging towards each other, but I can't see where they're crossing. We couldn't see 50 minutes on there because here's 50 minutes. My graphs didn't go that far. So since we can't figure it out from the graph, we can go ahead and use what we know. I know Miss Morose, her equation is y equals 1.5x plus 50. I know Miss Kennel's equation that she reads is y equals x plus 75. Now what I want is I want them to be on the same page. Y is my page value. If they're going to be on the same page, these are going to be the same number. And if y is the same number, that means that these two equations have to be the same. And if they're the same, they can be set equal to each other. So since I can't see where they meet on the graph, I can do it mathematically. And I take Miss Morose's equation, 1.5x plus 50, and I'm going to set it equal to Miss Kennel's equation, x plus 75, and then all I have to do is solve. Minus x, 0.5 x plus 50 equals 75 minus 50. 0.5 x equals 25. Divide by 0.5. And x equals, once I put that in my calculator, I see x equals 50. And so the question is how long? How long will it take? It will take 50 minutes. Don't forget your label. If we go back to our graph, now that I know that, I can figure out my next two answers. Who is going to be further after 30 minutes? Remember, minutes is an x value. So everywhere I see x, I can plug in 30. And I want to do that for Miss Morose and Miss Kennel. So for Miss Morose, we have y equals 1.5 times 30 plus 50. 1.5 times 30 is 45 plus 50. So Miss Morose would be on page 95. Miss Kennel, on the other hand, her equation was y equals x plus 75. So plug in 30 plus 75. Miss Kennel is only going to be on page 105. Who's going to be further? At this point, Miss Kennel would be further. But let's check after 90 minutes. once again, minutes is an X value, and we are going to plug it in for Miss Morose and Miss Kennel. For Miss Morose, y equals 1.5 times 90 plus 50.